everyone, Holly and Maya here from Story Imprinting. I'm here with Anne-Marie Hoftailing, the co-founder of Story Imprinting. Hello, Anne-Marie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, friend. How are you?
Doing fabulous. Love the whole outfit, as usual.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be a video. It wouldn't be a Story Imprinting video if I didn't comment on your fabulous sartorial choices. So,
I mean, look at you. You've got headgear on today. I do not. So you are far more fabulous than I this morning.
thank you. Um, and that's also not true. We're equally fabulous. But anyway, at Story Imprinting, we teach great companies, great people, the art and science of storytelling. And really, our training and curriculum encompasses a broad range of professional development topics. And so we encourage you, if you're here, to sort of just, futz around on the YouTube channel and check out all of the content that we have. If you like what you see, drop us a like, drop us a comment that smiles, that makes the YouTube gods smile favorably upon us. So, and we like that. So today we want to talk a little bit about a type of story that we think kind of everyone needs in their arsenal. And, we talk a lot, Anne-Marie, about origin stories, right? And then when you can't turn around without reading a piece online, I feel like, about an origin story, right? But there's another type of story that's equally as important. What is that?
I think that there's some real importance on thinking about and examining the transformation or evolution story.
Mhm.
And I think that it's good to have an origin story, but particularly for companies that are older,
Yeah.
they've gone through some form of transformation and evolution over time, and thinking about what were those triggers that created that. Those triggers could be technological, they could be legislative, they could be
Right.
cultural, and thinking about moments in time in a company's history where there was a shift and how that shift occurred is a really important story that shapes both the story of the company as well as the culture. Now, this can also be true personally, right? I mean, you don't start with an origin story and then you're like, and then I was fabulous and successful.
Right.
You had growth moments in there. So as an individual, think of, in this timeline of your career or your personal life, where were there some big shifts for you in
Yeah.
learning, in awareness, in awakening? I think those are really powerful and rich stories that you can use throughout your profession.
Do you have one that you would want to share? I can think of one that I'm laughing about right now, so I don't mean to
I
put you
think
on
you
the spot,
should
but
tell one.
yeah. So and this is a small sort of funny one, but I told it in the context of back in the olden days when we would do in-person training. You've heard it, and as you know, and as some of you know, if you're watching this and you know me or you've watched our other videos, I had began my career in journalism, working as a reporter, and then I was a lawyer, and tried on like a lot of different hats as a lawyer, to try and make that one of those hats fit on my head, and ultimately they didn't. But I was working as the GC of a company, and they had sent me to Philadelphia, and I was going to be firing someone. Do you remember the story? And I had a young baby at the time, and I had flown from San Diego to Philly and landed at like midnight. And it was the end of March, which in San Diego means nothing, but in Philadelphia, it's cold. I was totally unprepared. I had like flats on, no boots, no coat. Like, just my mom was so mad when she heard the story. And and this was like a significant amount of time ago. So, like what little wireless charging packs weren't a thing. So my phone had sort of like steadily dwindled the battery on the plane. And I thought, oh, when I get to the hotel, I'll charge it. I have enough battery to get where I'm going. Oh my God. So my rental car pops a tire on the Pennsylvania Turnpike at like 12:30, and it starts to snow. My phone has like 2% battery. And I had this moment where I'm like sitting on the edge of the highway, and I'm like, is this how it ends? Right here, like in this Toyota Camry with three were functioning wheels and a phone that's not charged. Like, am I gonna die and freeze to death on the side of this road because for this job, that I wasn't being fed by, right? I mean, for a lot of people, it's a job they would have loved. It just was not a job that fit, and I kept trying to make it fit for me. And that was truly like this transformational moment where I was like, first, I have to get off the side of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and second, I got to get out of this job. And fortunately, I had enough battery to call 911, and they sort of incredulously asked why I was calling them, and I'm like, I'm stuck on the side of the road. This is Pennsylvania, right? Like, people are a little bit hardier than we are in San Diego when it comes to weather. But I had a very nice state trooper who got me on my way. And on the flight home, I just started sketching out, what is the next chapter going to look like? And it was really scary, right? Because I was sort of stepping into this void, going from what, from all accounts, what my family would say is like a very steady job, a very, a job with great earning potential. I had gone to school for it. There were all of these things in my head saying like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? And then I'd go back to, but I almost froze to death on the side of the Pennsylvania Turnpike on my way to fire someone. This is not the life that I want to live, right? So that's my little funny transformation story. But those stories they can take any tenor, right? I mean, they don't have to be this big dramatic to be or not to be moment, right? There are all different types of ways that you can sort of tease these out. Do you have any suggestions for viewers and listeners in terms of how they can sort of find their way into a transformation story?
Yeah, I always think people are a great source, and what I mean by that are someone you met, someone who led you, someone who you encountered, an important conversation you had. Those are usually where something illuminating happens for you. Those are excellent. They're, I say this, they're not always large events. Some of the greatest change doesn't happen because someone died or because something, I mean, that can be a trigger for change. It isn't always. Sometimes it's quiet, and that doesn't mean it's not a powerful story. Sometimes somebody can have an enormous impact on you by just having a small conversation with you and making you see things in a different way. So I think an awakening, it can happen in lots of circumstances, but looking at people and conversations that you've had, events too, but people and conversations is where there are a lot of moments for that story.
I love that. I mean, I like that. I think everyone should remember that word awakening, right? Like think about the awakening moments and the aha moments and the moments where someone has sort of like shifted your perspective or changed your point of view or made you look at something a little bit differently. Those are all, I think, really important ways into this type of story. And they can be used in a variety of contexts, right? I mean, they can be used in your personal life if you're a parent, or an aunt or an uncle. They can be used, professionionally in any of the buckets, right? Like retention, recruitment, all of that kind of thing. Storytelling, as we always say, is not just the purview of like within your company, your external PR department, right? Or communication staff. This is something that you should be thinking about, should be doing. We want you to be doing, sort of seamlessly in your day-to-day interactions.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to think of storytelling as a management tool, as a leadership tool, as a coaching tool, as a business development tool, as a personal branding tool for your own professional advancement. Change management, it goes on, recruiting, it goes on and on. The application of storytelling is valuable in all of those places because storytelling works with rather than against human nature. And that's how you're most likely to build habitual trust and influence an outcome.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in any of that, reach out to us because we do a whole lot of training and a whole lot of speaking on that topic. That's one of our favorite topics, no surprise. And yeah, if you follow us on LinkedIn, you're going to be able to get a ton of great content that we write there. We post quite frequently, share things. We want to be connected to you there. So please don't be a stranger. Don't hesitate. And again, if you like what you saw, drop a like, drop a comment. If there's something that you want us to focus on in a future video, we create these in response to consumer demand. So feel free to drop a comment here and tell us what you want us to talk about, and we will gladly do so. Be great to one another, and Anne Marie, have a great rest of your day.
You too.